Are you curious about how letting your team shine makes you a better, inclusive leader? And if you're curious about why your team will make or break you and your ability to reach your goals, if you're curious about any of this, you are in the right place. So let's get into it. Dr. Darius Daniels, one of the greatest communicators out there, a cultural architect, spiritual leader, trendsetter, he reminds us of something very important. And I quote, "You don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team." This is so important. I love it. And the thing is, a strong team can elevate our potential. A strong team can help us go further with less effort. And as the popular African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So the first thing is let your team shine. Let them shine. We know that it's not just about having people around, it's about having the right people who feel comfortable and safe enough to challenge us, who support us, but who also inspire us. And the best, most inclusive leaders support their teams by letting their lights shine. And inclusive leaders, in particular, they prioritize singing their team's praises over trying to compete or over trying to snuff out enthusiasm and initiative. And this is important because if you don't let those on your team shine, they're either going to find another place that will, or they will allow their lights to dim. They will allow you to snuff them out. And this is to the detriment of your goals, the organization's goals, and so on. So in short, consider this that a team member's lack of performance, it might just be rooted in your leadership style and priorities rather than their knowledge and ability. So keep that in mind. The next thing is that it starts with you. Think about it. Are you creating a safe, supportive environment for your team to grow? Are you creating an atmosphere where creativity and innovation is cultivated? Or are you spending more energy trying to compete with your own team? And usually, when this happens, it's not our intention to stifle our team members. However, this is a habit that we don't recognize unless we are self reflecting, and it can stem from many things: insecurity, ego, our inability to tap into whatever our authentic leadership style is, in which that we feel most comfortable. So when we're operating from a place of discomfort and lack of being authentic to ourselves, it manifests in these weird ways that end up causing insecurity and us to do things that don't quite align. So it's important to self reflect. And in my experience, when I have praised my team for projects well done in public and private, or when I've coached leaders to do the same, it creates a self fulfilling prophecy. That's what we call it in sociology, this self fulfilling prophecy. And what happens is confident team members produce better quality results. They also tend to feel safe. And this seems to encourage them to offer more creative solutions. So when you believe that your team is doing well and when you speak that into being, it actually makes it happen. It helps things to fall into place. You manifest it, and the energy goes in that positive direction. So then finally, what makes an inclusive leader? This matters. And I was reading a recent Harvard Business Review article called "What Makes an Inclusive Leader?" And that article noted, and I quote, "Inclusive leaders prioritize authenticity and psychological safety, promoting an environment where people can express themselves freely," end quote. So I love that. And taking that into account, when I shared Dr. Daniels' quote earlier, it's because he emphasizes self optimization without self destruction. And what I mean by that is this means building a team that not only complements our strengths, but fills in our gaps as leaders. This is about not forgetting we are still part of the team we are leading. It means, as a leader who strives to be inclusive, that we are always leveraging diversity and that we know strength comes from that diversity. It's not a problem to be overcome, it's a benefit to be leveraged. And then this Harvard Business Review article, it goes on to say that it shares that when it comes to inclusive leadership skills, inclusive traits like humility, curiosity, and empathy should be treated as critical leadership capabilities rather than something just desirable. And this is why I am so gung ho about inclusive leadership. and empathy as the most important leadership competency. This isn't just a nice to have. These are critical, especially in our day and age, in our time right now. And especially if you are a faith-based community or if you are a social justice nonprofit, like empathy matters. You're not just doing business, you are on a mission. You are heart centered. You want to make the world a better place. So you don't just lead like anyone else's lead because your result isn't just about money and stockholders. It's not about that. And so the leadership style needs to align so that you can better reach your goals. And also, the reputation of your organization matters too. It's relationship based as well. So, very important. And again, this is why I add to that quote about inclusive traits like humility, curiosity, empathy being critical. Empathy, humility, and curiosity, I believe that they should also be extended beyond just your team, but also towards the clients and customers that you serve, your members, if you are in a member organization. Empathy isn't just something we do with our team. To really have deep change and make it become like second nature, we need to do it all the time with everyone. And I think that's when it becomes easy and good. Because when your team thrives, you will thrive as well. And so, after managing, creating, and implementing numerous leadership programs in my career and providing one on one leadership coaching to leaders, I've learned that leadership, it's not about being the smartest or the most qualified leader. It's really about being a leader that empowers others to bring their best selves to the goals at hand. And if I could narrow this down into just one sentence, I would say, when your team thrives, so do you. So keep this in mind and remember that your team strength is your strength. And as we shift gears into, okay, what do I do about this? Number one, think about what steps are you taking to build a stronger team? And then number two, when you're meeting one on one with your team members, are you asking for feedback on your own leadership? One of my best supervisors, whenever they would meet with me, they said, is there anything I can do to be a better leader or better supervisor? And he said that every single time. And now I'm in habit of saying that as well as a leader myself. And I appreciated his openness to ask that question. It showed his humbleness and also showed that the accountability he took and that he wanted to be a better leader because he was asking for feedback. And so that's something that I think a good leader does. And then number three, do you think your team feels safe enough to be honest with you? So back to two, asking for feedback as a leader, how would I even be honest with a supervisor, even if they asked me that question, if I didn't feel safe? So this supervisor that I was explaining to you before, he created a safe environment, very safe. I knew he had my best interest. So how can we do that for our people? How can we create an environment where they feel safe to be honest with us? Not just about their performance and how we perceive it, how we receive it, but about all things, because it touches on everything. So if you think your team may not feel safe enough to be honest with you, what can you do about that? All right. Okay, so that's all for now. And if you would like me to speak, preach, teach a class, moderate a panel, or help you develop or support your leadership development program, just click on the links in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. See you next time. Bye-bye.